So I've been obsessed with this game on Roblox called Horse Life, and I must make a video on this. So we're gonna be talking about the bosses, but just be aware that there's lots and lots of updates during this game, so some of this information might change in the future.
So the boss pretty much spawns every hour, and you know that it spawns when you see it should be like a green glowing totem on somewhere on the map. Usually it's around spawn. Let me try to show you. So this is where you spawn, and then they're generally around this area on the map. I've never once seen them spawn anywhere else, and I think that's mainly because there's no space to kind of run around, because you need a pretty clear area in order to really actually do the boss effectively and for the boss not to get stuck on something. So I think that's why it just spawns there, but essentially they're pretty easy to find. If you're in a more crowded server, you can find them by seeing where everyone just starts going in one direction. And you have about 5 minutes to actually enter the spirit tame, so I wouldn't stress too much about time. So if let's say it spawns at 12 o'clock, it won't start until 12:05, so you have a few minutes. A lot of people kind of rush to get there so that they can donate their horses for space, because right now I have only 4 spaces. Then they donate the horses, and then they can just donate more, like tame more horses like this, and then just donate 4 more horses. So I'll have like a total of 8 horses donated.
Something else important to mention are the type of lassos that you use to actually tame the boss. And there's essentially two of the best lassos that you could use, and the first one is a woven lasso. The woven lasso has a 125 stud range, and the cooldown is 0.5 seconds. The heart gain is also 3. And then the master lasso is, in my opinion, the best lasso to use while taming the boss. This lasso has 175 studs, which is really nice. The cooldown is also zero point 0.5 seconds, and the heart gain is 4. The more important part about the Master Lasso is the stud range, because you can essentially stand or jog slash run around the boss farther away rather than like standing up right next to it or having to go in closer, so you don't get hit by the boss's ranged attacks.
So now we're going to go over some of the drops that you can get from the boss. It is important to note that some of the things that you get from the boss you actually can't buy in store. So if you look at the shop, as you see when I click gear, do you see a master lasso? I don't. I don't. So you can actually get master lassos from the boss. I believe as of right now, there's about 10% chance that you get a master lasso, and you get 5 per. And you can use a master lasso to tame any species in the game, so they're pretty valuable. You also get a bunch of food. You really want your inventory. Hello? You really want your inventory slots to be not full. You want at least 200, at the very least 200 slots free in your inventory in order to do the boss, because I've gotten so much food that I hit my cap every single time. And I could upgrade if I wanted to. I see this, I know, but I'm cheap and I really don't want to, and I'd rather just use my food after every boss and breed things and breed my horses. If you'd like to buy space before the boss, you can as well. But you get so much food. You get so much food, it's insane. It's 35% chance to get a random foal. This random foal can have either the spirit buff. Let me see if I have one to show you. Yeah. Most of those are gonna have the spirit buff. Spirit buff is all of these things. Personally, I don't think the spirit buff is really great. It's one of the worst horses and most common horses that you can get from the spirit tame. It'll say that every spirit horse that you get is going to have the spirit origin, of course, because that's how you know where you got it from. And yeah, most of them will have the spirit buff, and that's alright. They won't always have glow paint. In fact, majority of the time, they won't have glow paint at all. Let's go over the deity buff. You'll also have a very small percent chance. It doesn't really mention what chance, but you could possibly get a deity buff horse. Deity buff is the better buff out of the spirit and deity buff. This is the deity buff. Mainly what I want is the 100% plus stamina. That's kind of what makes this horse so valuable. And of course I got lucky and I got a glow pattern and a glow sock. But yeah, it'll still say that the origin is spirit. Those are kind of the two buffs that you can get so far in the game. Okay, so there's a 5% chance to get a random palette. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Almost all of these palettes I have not earned. I have bought them at the marketplace, okay? As you see, I have duplicates because I earned those, yes. But a lot of these I bought. So personally, I don't think that the random palettes should be such a low percentage. Pretty much the rest of these are pretty easy to get. I wouldn't even really worry about the 5%. It's just crazy because you can get it so easily in the marketplace, but it's only a 5% drop on the boss. That's literally, is that the lowest percent? That's the lowest percent drop, other than they actually just added halos for each. Oh, did I get one? Hold on. Hold your horses. Oh my god, I got one! This is a 1% drop. This is a 1% chance. So hold on to these unless you have multiple. Hold on to them. For each tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, there are 3 different halos that you could possibly get in the game. Every single time it's a 1% chance to get them. And for each tier, there's a different halo that you can get.
So now that that's out of the way, we can get on to me showing you guys how to tame each tiered boss specifically. Starting off, you'll want to prepare for each boss. You can pretty much just catch as many horses as you desire. You can also use any lasso for this, it doesn't really matter. I pretty much just stick to the woven lassos because it's less rage inducing for me. But you can use any lasso to tame these horses. My general rule is any horse that's $124 or less, I keep and save for the boss, and then I rename it W. Any other horse, I sell. It doesn't really matter which letter you choose, but for your own sake, just use the same letter each time so that you don't get confused later. Once you're satisfied with the amount of horses that you've tamed for the boss, you can either choose to stay in your server or you could server hop. I choose to server hop just so that I can get a better tiered boss each time. Moving on to the tier 1 boss. Tier 1 boss, you get 5 rewards and a possible 1 chance for the tier 1 boss halo. For the tier 1 boss, I'm going to show you guys in real time just so that you can kind of see the full process. To join the tame, you just press E at the totem and a menu will pop up showing the current tier as well as possible rewards and all of the possible horses that you can donate from your inventory. Now you can select the horses that you'd like to donate. Luckily, we made that easier for us, so it's quite easy to just pick the horses that you'd like to donate. Another thing to know is that once you donate them, they're pretty much gone. You can't get them back, so just be very careful or lock all of the horses that you absolutely want to keep. As you can see here, you can also still tame other horses that aren't the boss during the spirit tame. So if you don't want to lose those, just keep an eye out for them so that you don't accidentally click them and then lose a valuable lasso. There are 3 main attacks that a tier 1 boss can do. One of them includes the little red circles or meteor showers. They can cause you to lose 1 lasso when standing on them. The green ring is also another main attack. It widens its radius, and not only when hit do you lose a lasso, but you're thrown off your horse. I'm sorry that I couldn't show you for this video. I really try to avoid those as best as possible for obvious reasons, but as you see here, I'm kind of standing and not being hit by the green rings because I'm elevated. Another attack is the big green circle. This also causes you to lose one lasso while standing on it. It's the fastest attack that the boss can do. In order to evade it, just don't ever try to linger around the front of the boss. Now for tier 2, you can get 7 total rewards, and entering the boss tame is essentially the exact same way for all tiers. This one is sped up a little bit. It's generally the exact same, just more rings, more meteors, more frequent attacks. As you see, I'm hiding in a building. As long as you're elevated, you won't get hit by the rings on a tier 2 boss. Unfortunately, this building does not have a cover, but ideally it would so that it could shield you from the meteor attacks as well. A quick little tip for the boss is that you can also switch lassos while you're in the spirit tame. So as you see here, I'm switching from the woven to the master and back. You don't have to do this, but I just don't want to lose my master lasso. Last is tier 3. On the tier 3 boss, you can receive 9 rewards, and pay no mind to the amount I donated. That's irrelevant. I wanted to show you guys the differences in the buildings that players can place. This one over here is better than the one that we chilled in on the tier 3 boss because it also has the roofs that I was talking about. So it'll shield you from the two different attacks rather than just the one attack. And then the building to my right that I'm showing you will only shield you from one of the attacks. We'll cut straight into the good stuff. Again, with the attacks, pretty much the same attacks as tier 2, just more in quantity and more in frequency. The only other main attack that a tier 3 boss can do that's different from the other two tiers is the fireball that hits you. It also knocks you off your horse, and it's pretty frequent, so don't get hit by it. And here I'm showing you guys that unfortunately, no building that a player can place currently will protect you from the boss's big circle attack. One last tip is that you don't have to actually run around the bosses, you can trot. As long as your speed is 2 clicks forward, you won't get hit by the fireballs that the tier 3 boss throws at you. This can help save some stamina if you're running low. That pretty much covers everything, guys. I hope I really didn't miss anything. I tried to cover everything in an order that made sense as well. This is my first YouTube video, so I hope that everyone liked it. I know there's a lot of places to improve, but thank you for watching.